doing the early morning drive, road trip. I'll let you guys know where I'm headed in a little bit. But all right. So I just got the word Triple G got a stoppage over Murata. This fight in Japan. I haven't had a chance to see the fight. When I get settled where I'm headed, then I'll have a look, take a look for myself, see what's up. But okay, so basically this sets up the third not anticipated Canelo. I think at this Canelo will in the third fight, and not only will Canelo win, people believe that Canelo will stop Triple G. Triple G will be 40 years old by the time he fights Canelo. Or if he isn't 40 years old. I think his birthday is this month. I think his birthday is pretty soon, but I don't know for sure. But many of us believe that Triple G is going to get stopped by Canelo. But that all depends on what happens with Canelo versus Bivol or Bivol. You know, I'm from the hood, so I'm gonna say Bivol. But going into that fight, and one thing that you have to say about Canelo is just like it's always a question mark about when you watch Canelo fight, whether you like it or not. And that's all I'm gonna say about this fight with Bivol that's coming up. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But getting to some other fights, a lot of fights jump off. There's a fight with Michaela Mayer. Then you have the Harrison Lubin versus Fundora fight. So you get, like I said before, this is one of the things that frustrates me as a media member, as a guy that covers boxing, because like I say, these promotional companies to a certain degree, they pull you one way or another. They pull you this way, they pull you that way, because okay, well, are you gonna cover our fight or are you gonna cover this fight? Which I don't think is fair, because I really think that they could like spread these fights out so where we could have boxing every week, based off the fact that we had 4 cards jumping off today. They could have went week for week for week for week, and then we would have had boxing all through the month of April, a fight every week. But we have 4 cards today. San Antonio, well, we had one in Japan, we had one in Los Angeles, we have one in Las Vegas. Okay. So, like I said, that's one of the things that bothers me about doing this kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, hey, I go to whatever event, accept my credential application. So that's pretty much the tail of the tape for me. But anyway, so it was announced that Floyd Mayweather is fighting, I think, an exhibition match. As I said before about Floyd Mayweather, I mean, truth is truth about him, that Floyd is addicted to the limelight. And I think that was kind of tacky. Well, I'm not going to say kind of tacky. It was tacky to announce that he got a fight coming up. We're supposed to be promoting Tank's upcoming showdown with Rolly Romero. Whether this is Tank's last fight with Mayweather Promotions or the PBC, at the end of the day, the main focus should be on Tank. But, Floyd has done this before. He's announced exhibition matches when we should be focusing on, Wilder fights and stuff like that. By the way, I don't know how old it is, but I saw a video with Deontay Wilder and Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle said to this day, so shout out to Dave Chappelle, shout out to Deontay Wilder. I hope to see Deontay Wilder back in the ring soon. At the end of the day, he gave us three legendary fights with Tyson Fury. So, you know, shout out to Wilder, man. You know, he gonna always be a G to me, because at the end of the day, you know, he made Tyson Fury relevant. You know, nobody cared about Tyson Fury until he fought Wilder. But you know, at the end of the day, you know, Deontay Wilder ain't gonna get his credit for making Tyson Fury at least a name in boxing. So, you know, it is what it is, though. That's the, you know, tail of the tape. Brother don't never get no credit. Never get no credit. And that pisses me off. But yeah, Triple G, he stopped Murata. I stand by what I said about Triple G over the years. I never thought much of Triple G. Even when the Triple G hype train was at its peak between, you know, 2014 to like 2017, I just never saw what people saw in that dude. I always thought of Triple G as being a solid fighter, but the way they tried to make it look like he was an all-time great was just absurd, because I was just like, man, this dude is basic. I knew his strength and his power alone would get him by in a lot of fights, but I knew if he fought somebody with overall skills, if he fought somebody with just overall boxing skills, it would be bad for him. And that's why he never went near Andre Ward, because he knew how that fight would turn out for him. He knew Andre Ward would work him. You know, in boxing, at the end of the day, it's true when they say styles make fights. So for the most part, a lot of these matchmakers, they will, if this is a guy that they trying to hype up and they trying to make him like a star, they're gonna put ideal opponents in the ring with him that best suits his style. That's just fact. And it's pretty much done with everybody. So there's no such thing as, when, you know what I'm saying, there's no such thing as technically fighting everybody. More than likely, even as a boxer, unless you Deontay Wilder, who actually really did want to fight the best guys out there, style-wise, no matter what, whether it was best suited for his style or not, that's what went on with Triple G. That's just fact. Put guys in the ring with him that suited his style. They never wanted to put a slick mobile boxer in the ring with Triple G, because it would have been a nightmare for him. So that's why they never fathomed the thought of putting him in the ring with Andre Ward. That's why they never put him in the ring with Demetrius Andrade. And then based off the fact that Charlo had a style to where he would be willing to dish it out with Triple G and slug it out with Triple G, that they didn't like that for him, because it would have came down to whoever wore down each other, or who landed something big first. So they didn't like that, so they was just like, okay, this is fact about him. I mean, you cannot dispute what I'm saying. And I laughed at the fact when I was telling people about Triple G, like I said, not only did I get it, now I expected it to get it from people who wasn't black, but it was kind of funny. I had black people attacking me in behind Triple G, which I didn't care, because I stick to my guns and I meant every word I said about Triple G. And I was proven right. I said it for years. I said when 160 started to get more competitive, because Triple G was basically the best guy at the time. But when the Charlos, Demetrius Andrade, and those dudes started to make their way up there, as you can see, it was hesitation for him to get in the ring. Well, actually, he didn't fight those dudes. So I'm just keeping it I'm just keeping it a buck. Tell me that I'm lying. But at the end of the day, we all know what's coming, which is Triple G versus Canelo, maybe September. And a third fight, which, like I said before, is there really any anticipation for this fight? Not really. I'm not looking forward to a third fight with Triple G and Canelo, because we already know how this fight is going to end. Canelo is going to beat the hell out of Triple G in the third fight, and he's probably going to stop him. And then you're going to start hearing all this stuff about how great Canelo is, and which that ain't true. I mean, Canelo is good, but at the end of the day, once again, Canelo, they put him in the style. As you can see, Canelo struggles with slick mobile fighters. The Caleb Plant fight should tell you all you need to know about Canelo. Had Caleb Plant been a little bit more seasoned, if this fight would have took place in, let's just say, 2 more years, Caleb Plant would have easily beat Canelo, which at the end of the day, I thought Caleb Plant was winning the fight anyway. Despite what Showtime says. One thing about me, I don't go by what announcers say. I go by what I see for myself. And that's fact. So I'm just telling the truth. Just telling the truth. Mark my words. And if Canelo fight Arthur Beterbiev, Canelo probably ain't gonna try to fight him to like the end of the year, which means he's gonna hope that Arthur Beterbiev have aged a little bit more. Because you got Arthur Beterbiev and Joe Smith Jr. coming up, if I'm not mistaken, June the 18th. So Canelo may try to go for undisputed at light heavyweight, but I'm expecting Arthur Beterbiev to win that fight. I'm expecting him to stop Joe Smith Jr. But at the end of the day, Joe Smith Jr. can crack. So there is a chance that Joe Smith Jr. could have some success against Arthur Beterbiev. Had this fight happened like 2 years ago, Joe Smith Jr. getting stopped. But due to the fact that Arthur Beterbiev is like 37, maybe going on 38, and you have to take age into account, then here you go. And then at the end of the day, you look at Canelo, this is what Canelo does. Now, I'm going to further speak on the fight with Bibble, because there seems to be some discrepancies on the weight issue. On one account, they're saying that there isn't a rehydration clause, but then behind the scenes, who knows? So we'll see. But anyway, I'll be back in a couple of hours. Gotta stay on the road, keep my eyes focused. Anyway, out.